He was meant to be her protector, her prince, her future emperor. But instead he gave her a disease, a silent poison that destroyed her body, and with it every dream she ever held. That was how the love story of Princess Stephanie of Belgium began to die. The young bride who entered Vienna's glittering court with hope in her eyes, and left it with her soul in ruins. At 17, Stephanie married Crown Prince Rudolph of Austria, the only son of Emperor Franz Joseph and the legendary Empress Elizabeth. The world knew her as Sisi. Their marriage was not born from love but from politics. Yet Stephanie arrived believing she could love him, believing that devotion could heal distance. But Rudolph was a man already broken, brilliant, idealistic, and restless. He despised his father's empire and the cage of his own destiny, and so as Stephanie tried to reach him, he slipped further away, into alcohol, forbidden politics, and other women. From one of those affairs, he brought home not affection, but syphilis, a disease that would make Stephanie barren and brand her body with her husband's betrayal. But the cruelest wound was never physical. It was knowing that her husband no longer wanted her. Rudolph's despair deepened. He saw no way out of his life as a crown prince trapped in an empire he despised. And then he met Baroness Mary Vitsera, a 17-year-old girl infatuated with him, naive enough to believe in a romantic death. Together they planned their escape, not into exile, but into eternity. On January 30th, 1889, at his hunting lodge in Meerling, Rudolph pressed a pistol to Mary's heart, then turned it on himself. The heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne was dead, and with him, the last shreds of Stephanie's dignity. The court rushed to cover the scandal. They claimed Rudolph had died of heart failure. But the truth could not be buried. Everyone knew he had chosen to die in the arms of his mistress, rather than live beside his wife. The humiliation was unbearable. The once bright Belgian princess was now a widow, discarded and disgraced at barely 24. Yet somehow Stephanie refused to fade. Years later she found love again, not with a prince, but with a Hungarian nobleman named Count Elémir Longnier. He was gentle, kind, and sincere. And for the first time she was loved not for her title, but for her heart. She married him, even though it meant losing everything. Her rank, her title, even her place in royal society. She traded a throne for peace, and perhaps that was her quiet victory. In her later years, she wrote her memoirs, I Should Have Been an Empress, a title that sounded like a sigh. But inside her words carried wisdom born of pain. Maybe she was never meant to wear a crown, but instead to learn the price of it, and to rule at last over herself. When the world plunged into war again, when the great Habsburg Empire crumbled into dust, Stephanie still lived, old, calm, and almost forgotten. She died in 1945, at 81, half a century after her husband's death at Meerling, but with her dignity intact. Her story is not merely about betrayal and scandal. It is the story of a woman's quiet endurance, of surviving disgrace, illness, and loss, and still choosing to live. She was a princess without a kingdom, a wife without love, yet she remained something greater than both, a soul who found peace where the empire never could.